Hi beautiful YouTube family, Namaste, Lisa A. Romano here, and I have been asked to do a video about codependent love and what's the difference between like a codependent love versus a healthy love and a healthy, mature love. So the first thing that I want to do is preface this video by talking a little bit about what I think codependency is. So we all have this equal playing field, so we all understand, that we're on the same page. So when I first found out that I was codependent, I was actually diagnosed with codependency and depression simultaneously. And my brilliant therapist said to me, you're codependent, but you're codependent. You're depressed, but you're depressed because you're codependent. I was like, what? Like codependent? My only definition in my head about codependency was related to alcoholism or drug addiction. And I was neither an alcoholic or a drug addict, and my ex-husband was neither a drug addict or an alcoholic. So I didn't quite understand how he could associate me with a codependent. I was ignorant. I had no understanding of it. But I really had nowhere else to turn. My life was spinning out of control very, very quickly, and I knew that I had to do something fast. So I read everything I could about codependency. Now, over the years, I have expanded my understanding of codependency, and I see codependency almost in everything. For me, I believe that codependency is tied to a need to feel seen that has been frustrated, and children have a natural need to feel seen in their childhood. They need to feel psychologically seen. And when our parents are addicted, or when our parents suffer from depression, or when our parents have some other issue that blocks them off from being able to relate to us, we grow up feeling unseen. And so now what happens as we grow up, we have this unmet psychological need to feel seen and attached and to bonded with others, which is very natural. And so what happens is we now are unconscious of this unmet need, and we don't feel worthy because we've been made to feel like we're not worthy of this bonding that we never received. So we know that we want to feel seen. So what we do is we go out of our way to try to make other people see us by trying to be good enough. So unconsciously, as codependents, what we'll do in love situations is, if we're a needy codependent, we will try to be good enough for someone else. Unfortunately, we don't attract someone who's able to love us just for who we are. We will attract somebody who, in my opinion, mirrors the energy of one of our parents who, there goes my paper, whatever. So, but what we end up doing is we attract people who cannot see us because that's a carbon copy or a template of our childhood experience. And we are unconscious of this idea that we're stuck recreating the same template from the past, trying to feel seen by energetic beings who mirror the vibrations of our parents. That's the energetic scope of things, in my humble opinion. So we don't know that. So here we are as codependents seeking love relationships, but what we're really trying to do is get this unmet childhood need met in our adult relationships. And we attract people who cannot see us. So now if I'm a needy codependent, I will attract somebody who is avoidant, unfortunately, because they're not very good when it comes to intimacy either. I'm not good when it comes to intimacy if I'm a needy codependent because I'm not being intimate with myself. I come into the relationship looking and expecting the other person to see me and validate me. So it's sort of like we're these puppies that are starving and hungry, please see me, please feed me. And we unfortunately attract people that can feel this in us, and they're very comfortable closing themselves off, so they're love avoidant in most cases. Now what happens is in a codependent love relationship is when the person who is the needy codependent gets sick of chasing after the avoidant personality, what will happen is they'll start to back off. And the avoidant personality will sense this disconnect, and then they start pursuing and they start advancing the needy codependent. And then the needy codependent thinks, oh great, he or she is finally on board, they understand that I'm not playing around anymore. And then the needy codependent will begin to engage the way he or she used to, and guess what happens? The avoidant personality goes back to the other side. And this is the swing. So in most cases, this is what it looks like. The needy codependent is chasing the avoidant codependent. And then when the needy codependent gets sick and tired of chasing the avoidant personality, what will happen is they'll retreat. And then once this gap gets further enough along and the avoidant feels like, uh-oh, I've lost their, my narcissistic supply, or I've lost their affection, uh-oh, they're not chasing me anymore, and I can't get to play out this, cat and mouse game with love, what will happen is they'll start to turn around, they'll come around, and they'll give the needy codependent some attention, just enough to get them back on the hook, and then this dynamic begins again. So codependent love never feels comfortable. Codependent love feels you're always on edge. Codependent love feels like, imagine being a puppy who's starving for their owner's attention and affection, and today we're going to play ball, and today we're going to go out for a walk, today, it's going to finally happen, I'm finally going to be enough, they're finally going to see me. There's a lot of emotional energy when you're in a codependent relationship. Codependent love, if you are the avoidant, you are also seeking the other person's validation. You're just very cool. You're very cool about it. You're like, you're like Rico Suave. You don't let the other person know that you actually need their attention. When you're the needy codependent, you're very obvious about it. You buy the other person gifts. Somebody on my live stream event from my coaching program today said that she's dating somebody who makes her soup and checks on her, which is lovely. But when you're a needy codependent, you're always on call for the other person. So, if you're the needy codependent, you're always thinking, what are they doing? What are they feeling? What do they need? What need can I fulfill? What thing can I do for them now? How can I prove to them that I love them? How can I show them how good I am? Now, if you're the needy codependent, what you're really trying to do unconsciously is to prove that you're good enough for them. And sometimes what we'll do is we will try to appeal to this person and make them need us so that they never leave us. So we take on all these demands of the other person willingly. We become an extension of the other person, because unconsciously what we're really seeking is we want to get them on the hook. We want them to need us, because if they need us, they have to see us. But the problem is, after a certain amount of time, we grow old of that. And once we feel like we've secured their need, we want something deeper. And when we want something deeper and we start to retreat, like, wait a minute, what about me? The dynamic flips. And that's when we experience chaos. Because the person who has been chased after is like, what do you mean you're not bleaching my socks and sewing my socks anymore? What do you mean you're not making me 3 meals a day? What do you mean you're not picking up my dry cleaning? What do you mean, you're not making me chicken soup because I've got the sniffles? What do you mean? They're shocked, It's like, what do you mean? But inevitably, this is what happens. If you are a needy codependent who finally attracts someone into your life and they allow you to take care of them. So there's someone who's like, yeah, sure, cut my toenails. It's fine. Yeah, sure, massage my feet. They're liking it, They don't have to give. They don't have to give because you're constantly giving and you don't know how to receive. So there's no opportunity for them to, or really, they don't have to give you because you don't know how to stand there and expect a need to get met, because you're out of touch with what you need, really, as an adult. Because what you're still doing is you're still chasing after these childhood needs, these needs that were unmet when you were a child. But of course, we're unconscious and we don't know that. And so as an adult, what will happen is when you're in this codependent relationship and you finally find somebody who will let you cut their toenails and wipe their butts for them, what will happen is you will eventually grow old of that. You will eventually grow tired of that. You will eventually grow so exhausted. And ultimately, what happens is with needy codependence, sometimes this happens in a few months. Sometimes it took me about 12 years to really get sick of that type of relationship where I was like, I'm freaking exhausted. Dude, buy your own damn underwear. Like, buy your socks. I don't want to buy your sneakers anymore. Take care of yourself. By the time that happened in my life, I had 3 children that I had to take care of. I had a business that I had to take care of. You know, I mean, the responsibilities that I had in a day were overwhelming, but it really wasn't my ex-husband's fault. I went into the relationship feeling like I needed to prove myself for his love. And I was the person, really both of us, he liked to be taken care of. And unconsciously, I was seeking my mother's approval. I did not know that. He was my mother's energetic twin. So very early on in our relationship, I absolutely created the template that ultimately destroyed our marriage, because I was, I'll do it, me, I'm a good girl, I'll take care of it, what do you need, blah, 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 blah. You know, that was me. And after 12 years and my body collapsing, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And when I came to him and I told him I can't live this way anymore, he was stunned. Not his fault. So codependent love feels very much reminiscent of our childhood experiences with trying to gain parental love. So for anyone watching this video, you know, if this resonates with you, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to ask yourself, take out a sheet of paper, you know, maybe journal, how does the relationship that I'm in today remind me of my relationship with my mom, or my relationship with my dad? Or if you've been adopted, or if you've spent time in foster care, you know, what I'd like you to do is, on a piece of paper in your journal, ask yourself, how do the relationships that I attract today remind me of how I used to feel or dream about the parents that I had, you know, wished I had? Or how does, if you were in foster care, for instance, so many of you who write me have suffered attachment trauma, have been given up for adoption, or your parents have passed on early on in your life, in your childhood, and you suffered a severe attachment trauma where you never felt validated by the being that brought you into this world. And that's a true attachment trauma. And any of you who have suffered in foster care or have been given up for adoption, I really, really beg you to research attachment trauma. You know, if interested, my coaching program deals with attachment trauma, you know, and eventually, hopefully you can take part in that. Right now, I have a program that's going to start in September 1st. After that, it won't happen until 2017. But even if you don't take part in the program, I really want you to start investigating attachment trauma, because it's real. All of us needed to feel seen by, especially the mother who brought us into this world. There was a true connection there. And when that connection goes interrupted for any reason, and our connection and bond with our mother gets corrupted, we suffer an attachment trauma. Even though we have no memory of it, the amygdala has downloaded that trauma, and it is within our body. It's in our visceral body. The trauma associated with that break, that interruption in our bond with our parents, has been downloaded into our bodies. And it doesn't matter if you can't remember the trauma. That's irrelevant. Before the age of 3 or 4, the hippocampus, which is what catalogs trauma, isn't even matured yet. So, but the amygdala is mature, and the amygdala is downloading this trauma. So it's in your body, and it's not your fault. So those of us, most often, codependency is a result of that type of a trauma. So I implore you to please investigate that. So codependent love, let's wrap this up. Codependent love feels very anxious, and it makes us feel like we're always trying to achieve a love. So if we're the needy codependent, we're always trying to achieve. We're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it's a happy shoe. We're waiting for the day our spouse finally says, "You're a good girl," or "Thanks, honey, you're the best husband in the whole world. It just took me 25 years to figure it out." That's what the needy codependent is waiting for. That's codependent love, and that's unnecessary. We have to learn that we are enough, and that we have to learn how. We have to learn the tools that we need to learn so that we stop seeking validation in other people, and that is possible. That's what I teach. If you are the avoidant codependent who isn't comfortable expressing yourself because perhaps in your childhood you were so wounded and you were so abused that, you know, the idea that you learned to wall yourself off and be protected from the people that you loved. It wasn't safe to verbalize. It wasn't safe to let your emotions out. But hey, even though it wasn't safe, you're still a human being and you still need to feel loved and you still need to feel connected to. But the way you go through life is you go through life avoiding intimacy and you attract needy codependents. But both people are in the same boat. Both people are trying to find ways to get their need to feel seen met. But you could be the avoidant who walls himself off and who tries to, men are very good at this. What they do is they show their wives that they love them in doing things, in raking the yard, in mowing the lawn, in going to work. Like in a man's head, that's how I'm loving you. And in a man's head, maybe she'll tell me she loves me. Maybe she'll tell me I'm great because I went to work today. That's really the way a lot of men's minds work. And men out there, if you're watching this video and you agree with me, please give me a shout out, because women don't know this stuff. We really don't. We don't know that, if you were abused as a young boy, and also it's also the stigma in society, what we've done to men as little boys. We've told them that, boys don't cry. That's not true. Beyond your gender, you're a human being, and human beings cry. It is a release. So there's nothing wrong with crying. It's actually natural and healthy to cry. But we don't know this. But when we're men, and I'm speaking for you guys out there, so send me a shout out, please. Thumbs up. Hello. Speaking for my brothers out there, we just have to understand one another. If you're a little boy and you've got this downloaded that it's not good to cry and I have to be big and macho, you will need to get your needs met to feel seen some way. And a safe way, without having to show your feelings, a safe way will be in the doing and the caring. And men think if I put on my suit every day or I put on my work uniform every day and I go out and I make money for my family, that's the way I love them. And a man really does believe that that's the way I'm showing you that I love you. And that's the safe way. Men have to learn how to come out of their shell a little bit, come out of that fort that they keep themselves trapped in, and learn to verbalize and vocalize with their mouth, with their throat chakra, I love you. And I go to work and it's my way of showing you that I love you. And I'm sorry if I haven't really verbalized that, and I'm sorry if I haven't found a way to make you as my wife or my partner, whatever it is. I'm sorry that I haven't really made it completely clear that this is the way I'm trying to love you, but I do love you, and that's why I go to work, and that's why I come home every day, and that's why the money from my check goes into a joint bank account, because I love you. It'd be awesome if men could verbalize that so women can understand. Women really don't know that that's how a lot of men who are withdrawn and don't speak about their feelings but are comfortable with the wife chasing them, women really don't know that that is the safe way that a man is trying to relate to the person in his life. So there are a lot of women that relate that way too, where men are more, my brother is very, very verbal. He lives with his heart on his sleeve, and he's very verbal about what he wants with his wife. And his wife is actually, in my opinion, more avoidant. So it could be a man or a female relating. But what I want you guys to take away is the codependent love style, where there's usually somebody who is very needy and more aggressive towards the relationship and more active and more emotionally invested verbally and obviously. And the other person, the partner to this needy codependent, is someone who walls himself off and likes the attention, but is afraid to be verbal and put themselves out there. Both of us are doing the same thing. There's the Italian. There it is. There it is. But both people are doing the same thing. Both people want to feel loved, and both people want to feel seen. So a little exercise. I hope couples are watching this. That would be awesome. So if you're a husband out there or that wants his partner to watch this video, go grab her. Send her this video. Watch it together. If you're a female out there that you're the needy codependent and you want your husband to see where you're at, that'd be awesome. Because I believe that this type of a codependent relationship, if both people are on board, they can actually heal it and have an amazing life experience because you're both wounded. You might not know it, but you're both wounded and you both want the same thing. So I suggest that what you guys do is, if you're on board, is both of you sow into the relationship a little bit every day. You need to see a marriage as a separate entity. So imagine that the two of you are standing inside your kitchen and you're looking outside your window and you see this beautiful patch of beautiful soil in front of you outside your window. And that patch represents your garden. And it's the responsibility of each of you to sow that garden with a little bit of love. The marriage has to be seen as a separate entity. You know, when we're in relationships, we forget that the marriage is actually a third entity, right? That both people have to sow into. So when you're the needy codependent, you're the one taking care of it. And when you're the avoidant codependent, you're just letting the needy codependent take care of everything. It doesn't work, dear ones. It just doesn't work. And a lot of marriages end unnecessarily. So I want you both to imagine that the garden is the separate entity, is your marriage, and it's responsibility of both of you to sow a seed of love into that garden every single day. So if you're the avoidant codependent, it's your job to actually come out of your shell a little bit and to deliberately make a conscious choice to sow a seed into that garden, or to water it, or to add some sunshine to it, or to, you know, just tend to the garden. And how we tend to the garden is we learn to speak from our heart space. We give our partner an acknowledgement. What your partner needs more than anything is to feel seen. A simple thank you for making me breakfast. You know, thank you for doing my laundry. You know, thank you for making sure that I always have toilet paper when I need it. I mean, that's a big deal. You know, those of us who run homes, hello, that's me. I run this house, you know, and 4 people live here and 2 dogs, a bunch of fish. You know, I'm the person making sure that everybody's got toothpaste and deodorant and new toothbrushes and toilet paper and everybody's socks are done and blah, 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 blah. I'm the person making sure that all that stuff gets done. That's a big deal. You know, the dogs always have dog food in the dog container. How's it happen? Because somebody like me is paying attention. When my husband says to me, babe, thanks for taking care of that. I really appreciate it. I really feel like I have a partner. You know, I feel seen, and that child wound that I had from being unseen gets healed. When we as women say, babe, thanks so much, you know, you go to your job, I know it's hard for you, you beat traffic, and you come home every day at the same time, you know, just thank you. You know, just thank you for being a great partner. I see you, you know. That allows our husbands or our partners to feel seen also, and it makes it easier for him to come out of his shell. So I hope this video has enlightened you. Codependent love, I think, is the most popular kind of love, but it doesn't have to be. We can heal, dear ones. You have to understand what's going on. Once you understand why you relate the way you relate in relationship, once you clarify it, then you can heal it. It has been my pleasure and my complete honor to come to you today. Namaste. I love you. I love you, humanity. You are worthy. We can beat this. We can evolve the Neanderthal brain. We can become choice beings. We can see the world. The glass is half full. We don't have to be needy codependents, and we don't have to be withdrawn codependents. We got this. We can change. Namaste, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.